be fun to see. Well, let's talk about these two teams, Rukel. Top tier, second place. Hey, well done. They were a top 4 team from last season. And they were first known as the T32 Tier 8 no-con type team.
Best Tier 8
NA.
2013.
Best Tier 8 NA. That's right. That was when they joined us via the qualifier, but in the end, they had to change their name because it was a little bit too long to put on all the graphics, so they shortened it to top tier. A predominantly Canadian team, and they, again, performed very, very well this season, but they're going up against a team that you could say the same thing, Hammertime, who have been with us almost as long as top tier. Top tier joined in Season 3. Hammertime joined us in Season 2. And Hammertime has joined us in Season 2 and Season 3 finals.
Yeah, excellent team. I don't know if I can say that they've been improving, though. I'm worried about their performance. They haven't been as dominant as I felt in previous seasons. That could be attributed very easily to the increasing skill of the entire league. But as we observe, we're noticing that they're not as dominant as they were in previous seasons.
I'll agree with that. I'll also say, rosters...
Yeah.
People that are able to show up, scheduling, etc. There's all sorts of factors when you have a team of 10 people, 7 that are playing on the battlefield. But that's besides the point. They made it to the playoffs. They were in 3rd place. Now they're here. But let's take a look at the journey of Hammertime through the division.
In Week 1 versus Fnatic, the movements were low, but the tensions were high.
Here comes Militant. Now he's on his zone as Antonio Hansen falls. Soviet has won, and he gets it. They're not going to fully commit. Notice that, Randall, they're not fully committing yet. They're still going to try to play a corner game, and they get the kill.
In Week 2 versus Bernal Empires, Hammertime performed a 0-2 comeback into a tiebreaker win.
This could turn into a draw scenario if that T1 can escape.
Zazzy comes in and gets the kill on his serve.
Azrael 90, he's not moving. Another hit. Which one's going to get the kill? And he gets it from behind. Boom!
Gong Fu in Week 3 couldn't hold against Hammertime.
Lines up the shot. Shun King misses. He lives for just a little longer.
And who's going to get the kill? It's Zazie that gets it. Photo finish will get the last shot and the kill against Shuma King. Himmelsdorf goes to Hammertime. They win the series 3-0.
Week 4, the Cunninghams brought Hammertime to another tiebreaker with a different result.
Assad Demise is about to fall, and he does. Declan to Death is next. Hammertime's dropping the hammer against Cunninghams. Taking us to battle number 5, and since both teams have won a single battle, it becomes a best of 1. Oh, Rams creeps but doesn't get the kill. And this 1 damage against Drynets. And Assad Demise takes down Griggs. And Comps takes down Drynets.
Next up, the Googly Bobbers brought Hammertime to Battle 5, but Hammertime closed the series 3-1.
These 5100s have taken a lot of damage. They're trying to spread the HP, but NYPD takes down Bananas to the wall host, and there goes Anfield. And Zazie waits for it. Spoon tries a Serpentine. He can't. And a win for Hammertime, which propels them further into their division.
Week 6, River of Blood, 3-0.
Flawless victory against Savagey. However, Invade lands 1 shot. Going to get a second.
1 more. Oh, 2 more actually is needed.
T1 Son of Hail from behind. Photo finish gets the shot.
In Week 7, Hammertime went head-to-head with Refuse to Die.
Overlord Prime. 1 shot takes down Valkyrie Buis.
That is the wrong choice.
Photo finish! Goomba! Get some!
In the tiebreakers, Hammertime faced the Cunninghams to determine 2nd place.
He will take damage for it.
Soundwise trying to take down Drynets. Can't get it in time.
Drynets picks up the kill.
And now Comps around the corner.
He is stopped. Now, photo finish goes down. NYPD, it is only Zazie left.
Hammertime secured 3rd place in the Bravo division.
Goomba was definitely a sight to see, and Hammertime was able to close that series against Refuse to Die. Much needed win. In the tiebreaker against Cunninghams, it was a loss. They did not have much success against Cunninghams in Season 4, but they're not going to face that team at all. Cunninghams got knocked out by Simp last night. And so now the Cunninghams, or excuse me, now Hammertime has to face top tier, 2nd place in the opposite division. Battle number 1 will take place on Ensk. Rukill, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we have 5100, 3 IS-3s, an Object 416, 2 T1 Cunninghams. That is top tier. The red team in the north. In the south, the blue team Hammertime will have 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, 2 T1 Cunninghams. And I am intrigued. An Object 416 making its way to Ensk. We haven't seen something like this since last season, Season 3, where 1390s, Object 416s plagued the middle of the map and just did so much damage, wrecking absolutely everything. The meta has recently shifted back towards IS-3 5100 combinations, but Top Tier is deciding that they would like to maybe see how this strat works these days.
Well, Top Tier is known for that team that brings unconventional tanks, but that they perform so well with them that they become the convention tanks for other teams. Hammertime took a page out of Top Tier by bringing 3 IS-6s on mines, but look at this push happening from Top Tier down the railroad tracks, while Hammertime is all the way in the west, not even moving past the Delta line, and they have not scouted. Oh, now they're starting to find out what's happening as they're going to head back towards their flag cap. But most information is no tanks have been scouted towards the north, and they feel too vulnerable here. As long as Top Tier can get out of this railroad tracks, out from the bottleneck, they can take this. Kriegs not down yet. He takes down Rude Awakening.
But Coolhammer is going to sneak onto cap. T1 secured there. We're going to see a block, and now a fast cap beginning for our Top Tier to begin this series. Counter cap coming in, and also E63 M6 in the north. We need to move forward. Top Tier has to shield Coolhammer in the T1.
Drynitz just below 50% health, and he has 1 shot left. Photo Finish takes down Agamemnon. That's 1 IS-3 down. They have not returned enough fire to take down these 5100s together, but they're low. Zazie takes another hit. HP spread still working in the favor of Hammertime. And Top Tier has lost both their T1s, and they've lost the flag cap pressure. But E63 M6 takes down Nitz. Big hit for Velaccio and NYPD. And Sublime Blend. Oh, nice shot from E63 M6. He was waiting for it. They got it.
Now he's covering from the north, way out of this fight. Has to avoid doing team damage, but Zazie is going to go down to the focus fire of Top Tier. A bit of a comeback we could see in just a moment. Depends if they can take down Overlord Prime quick enough.
Velaccio's loaded, gets a nice shot, 753 damage of the volley, but here comes Photo Finish, waiting for that load, but E63 M6 takes down Kriegs to get rid of the other Tier 1. Sublime Banana is in some trouble. Drynitz takes him out, and it's 3 Tier 8s against 2. Backstaz takes a big hit, but he's going to try to focus on Drynitz. He gets it. E63 M6 has to make a decision. Fire one more time and reload. He's going to go for the reload as Backstaz tries to hold. He gets it again. This Object 416 is holding the line against Hammertime. Backstaz waiting for another shot. Gets it for 359 damage. And now E63 M6 is 25% loaded, and Backstaz is trying to leave the position as fast as he can.
Photo.
Shot fired.
Photo puts it right into the train. That allows Backstaz to maybe sneak one more good shell in before E63 M6 will be able to come in. That shell does connect. Photo can't miss for long. E63 almost loaded. 75% there, getting to 80%. Give him 7 seconds and he will have shells. He will be able to finish off this IS-3, and it's a 1v1. But remember, in the past, we've had 5100s bounce all of their shells against an exceptional IS-3. We've had situations of comebacks like this. It's possible. Photo has to do so much work to get there, though.
E63 M6 heading back to the north. He's at full health. He's not taking this lightly.
No.
He's not charging in, guns blazing, saying, I got this, because that has happened in the past.
Can't get ahead of yourself. If you engage an IS-3 at great range, if he gets the track shot and you have burned your repair kit, which I don't think E63 has yet, but there's the possibility that catastrophic damage is dealt to the tank, making it so he has to use the kit. A second track shot could be in order, and E63 makes the approach over the open. Photo finishes in transit at the same time, fires on the move, and it is a miss. Now is the chase.
E63 M6, will he leave the flag cap or go for the chase? He has left the flag cap. Photo finish, hanging in a reverse angle for a little bit of time. E63 M6 choosing either the smaller path or perhaps through the fence, but he's waiting. He's turning his tank. Photo finish is lining it up. Can he get a shot? Does for 391, but so does E63 M6 for 263.
And now he can follow this up. Photo finish can try to delay, but he might not be able to get loaded in time. It is getting very, very close. He does have...
Into the tracks, and E63 M6 gets the shot, gets the kill, fires again, double tap, and Top Tier takes battle number 1.
Well played. Right at the end there, I remembered less than 10% hit points, adrenaline rush comes in. That IS-3 was reloading very quickly, and he could have clutched it if he had just made the proper track shot. That's all he had to do. Make the right shot, right into the front drive wheel of that 5100, stops him cold. Continue backing up around the building. Reload comes up much, much quicker than the normal BL9 reload. IS-3 could have done it. Very close, but too many hit points on the 5100.
Ruki, I want you to take a look at the stats, at the damage, and tell me, I've already seen it, the top damage dealer on the side of top tier.
Top tier, Object 416.
Ooh!
Backstabs. That thing does so much damage per minute. It is one of the highest DPM tanks of tier 8, and it's not even a tank destroyer. A medium tank of all things. Generally, this is not the case. Almost every other medium tank doesn't have DPM to compete. The Panther II has good DPM, but the Object 416, it has so many little things about it that just quirks, but its damage dealing potential absolutely astounding, and you saw it happen in this battle.
This was so picture perfect to see this performance of Backstabs in the Object 416, trying to stay alive as long as he can, moving into this position. Photo Finish tries to shoot through the railroad car, cannot get the penetration shot, and Backstabs around the corner is able to land one more blow before he goes down.
You can see how he has to really work his tank to try and make that shell happen. Of course, in the end, he has to sacrifice himself for it. Just the fact that the turret does not traverse 360 degrees, only very little from each side.
Yeah, that's the power of teamwork. You understand that you're not going to survive this. You do as much damage to make it easier for your teammate. Either way, it's still a victory. The other top damage dealer, Sublime Banana, 5 for 6, 1934. Velaccio was 5 for 6, 1824. I mean, multiple tanks rounding up close to 2,000 damage. The two 1900 tanks, that's impeccable to see that.
Excellent play on there. That fast cap, risky, but it did pay off.
Yes. I was scared, though, because you can get so bottlenecked. What I mean is all those tanks are hugging the same location at the exit, and so much damage can impact them very, very quickly. That was battle number 1. Moving to battle number 2 on Himmelsdorf. Rukil, what do we have for tanks?
For the red team top tier in the south, we have 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, 2 T1 Cunninghams. Hammertime in the north, the blue team. 3 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams.
This will be a mirror matchup. Looking at the opening runs happening from both teams, you see the red team on your screen now. It's top tier. In the blue will be Hammertime, and Hammertime is sending most of their tanks towards the hill, while top tier is fanning out slightly.
Bit of a heavy west side with Backstabs 5100 going to the hill. He seems to be that special tactics player. Object 416 last time. This time he's going to be the solo tier 8 on the hill. Perhaps, let's see if he'll get Rude Awakening towards the hill. Rude's just looking down for a blitzing T1 to shut down that position and the potential for a proxy spotting T1, which could cause a few problems. See the hill being a potential problem more so because of all those tier 8s from Hammertime heading that direction.
Drynet, Zazie, NYPD, Overlord Prime, and Photo Finish staying together. Last overmatch we saw like this, it was RBIS versus Simp, and Simp had 5 tanks, RBIS had 4, and Simp took them out with that overmatch. Quite the surprise for RBIS.
We have a little spotting. We have tanks, tier 8 spotted on the hill. Backstabs knows he is overmatched by far, and they're going to continue going. Drynets, Zazie, NYPD do not stop, and they're chasing down this 5100. They do not want him to escape, and we have a shift. Top tier sending tanks over, but Backstabs escapes, taking 1 shell, 302 damage. A slight lead for Hammertime to take early in this battle, and the response will not be quick enough to have any form of revenge. Hammertime can back off with this small victory and re-engage.
They can. They can also try to see the scurry of top tier for the placement of tanks on the battlefield. They will not see anything in the courtyard, nothing close to the Delta line, but the Gulf line is being approached by one of the tanks. The rest of the tanks from Hammertime, they're leaving the hill, while Drynets was due in a circle next to the outer edges of the castle courtyard. He'll still stay up here, and he'll go for a reload. Looks like he's going to maintain his presence up here for a couple more minutes. I can't fault him for it. It is a viable strategy. However, if he is scouted by that T1 and Hammertime is in a close to eventual brawl coming from top tier can overmatch him. That's the danger of it.
Depends on where they go and what they are thinking. Top tier, trying to decide what their opponent is going to do and being forced into a reactive stance. The tempo has been set by Hammertime. And now, Hammertime. What are they going for? What is the motion out of those T8s?
Well, they're hanging back towards their flag cap. This is the reaction of not finding too many of those tier 8s the hill opposite them, making sure there's no aggressive push towards that flag cap. But they've taken a long time, though, to decide what to do next.
I think that was it. They wanted to be ready for the counter cap. A very likely response by top tier, a team that's known for its aggression. And that it's never a surprise when they go for that fast cap on Himmelsdorf. It seems like the thing they would do. After you deal some damage, what's the thing top tier will most likely do? Go for the fast cap, jump across the middle, and box you out. Especially if you overexpand to try and get that one T8 kill. So a smart play by Hammertime, top tier, deciding that their opponent would return immediately and that they did not have the time to take advantage of the exposed cap. So we have a standoff. Both teams trying to find a new advantage, scouting each other out, getting a feel for this new layout. We've got Rude Awakening, I believe, spotting Drynitz in his T1. Drynitz recognizes the T1, looks over, but Rude Awakening. Smart little T1 gets out the way.
Photo finish still hanging on the corner.
We could have them squaring off against Velatio. One of the best IS-3s, I'd say, in the league. Exceptional damage for this season. He's been able to rack up, what was it, 40...
So shot and a bounce against Photo Finish here.
49k damage this season. And 60% of his shells connect. 51% of those shells that connect penetrate. And he's racked up 32 kills. He's a very dangerous player.
All right, here's the difference. The reset's happened from Hammertime now. They've sent 3 of their tier 8s back up to the hill, and now they're going for this push. There are no breaks right now for these IS-3s or 5100s going down this hill. Rude Awakening's going to spot this, and this could be a pincer attack coming from Hammertime as 2 of the other tanks are up north, moving down the 8 line.
Juke, Rude Awakening Juke, and your little T1. Overlord Prime gets the connection.
And it was a better call by the IS-3 to get the shot in the consistent fire tank rather than NYPD, because Overlord Prime will be fully loaded rounding this corner.
Yes, he will. Now Velatio is pinned all alone. 2 T1s blitzing down the 3 line. Velatio does get the first connection, 401 into NYPD, but now Photo Finish and Zazie can begin engaging on this T8.
Shot fired. Overlord Prime lands a hit against Sublime Banana. Backstaz takes another hit for 306. But that was a shot from E63M6 and Agamemnon. The return flank from top tier. They were ready for this. Up the 8 line. And now they have to push. Hammertime has to push into Sublime Banana and Backstaz. They have to push into the least amount of danger. And Sublime Banana will be the first to fall, but a couple bounces and a couple track shots. Backstaz is next. And top tier only has their 5100s left. But they are full, and they have full health and full shots. Landed 2, Agamemnon gets the kill. NYPD doesn't fall, but Agamemnon gets that one. Photo Finish and Zazie still alive. Drynitz hit. Agamemnon focusing fire against Drynitz. Drynitz going to back out from the corner. Agamemnon, however, tries to fire through, but a nice track shot from Drynitz allows his escape. And their 2 T1s are on the flag cap.
But this long reload, top tier, will not be able to recover from this, I think. They don't have the time, the reset capabilities, and there are IS-3s still in this battle. Photo Finish is going to be able to mess up Agamemnon, and the 5100 Zazie is reloaded.
Zazie wants those kills, and he gets Agamemnon. E63M6, the last hope for top tier in this battle. He falls. Hammertime puts a point on the board and ties up the series 1-1. Excellent play by Hammertime. I was a little bit scared for them because they were pushing into that scenario against those IS-3s, but it became an isolation principle. 3 against 2 in one area, and then the other 2 tanks were further away to try to get the flank, but because of that flank, it took them a long time to get back to the battle.
The top tier flank took too long. If it had started 5-6 seconds sooner, you would have seen a different story. Velatio does what he always does. We've complimented him on this before. IS-3 on the very front line, that is the G line, I believe, in the south for Himmelsdorf, backs into a corner, forces his opponent to waste a lot of time in order to begin the engagement on him and finish him off. He does go down, saves his team a little bit of time. That flank, though, that flank from top tier came too late.
Yeah,
Hammertime was too fast. Their push was completely unexpected. They got the T1, no real cost. Like you said, the IS-3 has time to reload and just continue the engagement. It was well done. Well executed by Hammertime.
That type of discipline is so important when you have the IS-3 take the shot rather than the 5100. Why? Because 50-plus seconds for an AMX 5100 to reload all 6 of its shells in that autoloader drum. IS-3, BL9, you get the shot, you move to the corner, you're ready to go.
Yeah. And if not, if you just waste the 1 shell and don't go for a reload, you're sitting there with 5 shells that you could have been sitting at 6 instead, put those into tier 8s instead of a T1, something you probably even could have rammed to death with the opportunity.
Yeah, and the amount of jukes that were happening, and if they did get the ram, it could have stopped the momentum. They decided to take the shot, and he was close enough to get the shot on the run. Damage being dealt, Zazie, the 5100, 9 for 10. He unloaded, fell back, and then was loaded again to get those shots. Didn't even unload his second drum all the way. Drynitz was 7 for 7. Photo finish was 4 for 7. NYPD was 4 for 4. He got all of his shells out. Then he died. Still did over 1,000 damage.
Yeah. NYPD and Drynitz being 2 of the top performers for that team. But Zazie, looking out for him in the series.
Yep. Well, we have a match on our hands, folks. We got a good series on our hands because now it's tied up 1-1. Battle number 3 will take place on Mines between these 2 top 8 teams from previous seasons. Ruka, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, top tier will bring at 5100 an IS-6 T32, 2 1390s, 2 T1s. There, the red team spawning in the north. Hammertime in the south will have a 5100, T32, T69, 1390, WZ-132, and 2 T1 Cunninghams.
Fast, aggressive, punctual. The WZ-132 could be if it gets there before the 1390s. It'll be loaded before the 1390s, but NYPD will be the one leading the charge.
Excellent jump. He has such a lead getting to the hill, and a smart play by top tier. They recognize the WZ-132 and its dominance on the hill. Backstaz and Agamemnon are going west instead. They're going to play waterside.
NYPD takes a first hit for 345.
Sublime Banana making that connection. Nice shot. He's got the 105 mounted, I believe.
And the T32. Yep. That's at Alpha Strike.
Velatio rolls up, and if you're talking about an Alpha, Velatio, 390 average damage.
That IS-6.
Doesn't have the greatest pen, but against tanks like a WZ-132 and a 1390, sufficient.
More shots fired as Hammertime is getting a closer position. Overlord Prime leading a bit. NYPD poking up next to the bush.
E63M6 also able to deal some damage. 979 in that volley to Photo Finish. It goes up to 1275 as E63 sneaks one more, and he gets the kill. Photo Finish is down. T32 dead. This soon in the battle.
But Velacio's taken significant fire from Hammertime, and now they've pressed up all the way to the center, and they can get the surround against these 2 stationary tanks. But Agamemnon and Backstaz know that, and they're going to push up. Drynitz is the next focused fire tank. 5100 out of the fight. Overlord Prime, next one that's targeted. He is in trouble. And around that corner spells doom. And his name was Backstaz. NYPD and Zazie up on the hill are the last tier 8 tanks. All the tier 8 still left alive for top tier. NYPD is reloading. Zazie still on the move, on the run in the WZ-132, and he's in trouble. Sublime about ready to land another shot. Gets it for 350. Agamemnon pushes up. He can finish this off and then find NYPD or go for the flag cap.
Easy kills. Hammertime just throws themselves on the spears of their opponent. Just jumping on him. No problem getting those kills. And I don't think they'll even lose a tier 8 in this battle. NYPD is almost down.
Agamemnon sweeping up. Wants to finish it.
Zeros.
Fires, misses.
He's on reload now. And NYPD could reasonably take him down, but I don't think he recognizes that Agamemnon is on reload. Wait, maybe he does. Stops and zeros. In a 1390 v 1390 fight, sometimes, stopping first is instant victory. In this case, they're both stalled now, and all Agamemnon has to do is stall for time.
Plenty of time on the board. 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Sublime Banana coming around the corner. Fires and tracks NYPD.
Oh.
Using his 9 lives still. Gets another hit against Agamemnon. Agamemnon is now reloaded. And Agamemnon gets it. Top tier puts another point on the board, and it's 1 more battle for them with another win to face Fnatic in the winner's match.
Interesting play. I did like that water side and the flex. Good calls by Top Tier. If they had not brought those 1390s back, completely different game. The support when the push came around from Hammertime was crucial for that defense to hold. The T-32 and IS-6 may not have been able to hold up to that much damage coming at them. Of course, Fallacio's IS-6 on the backside of a hill, that sloped armor can be highly effective. And also the hit points going in favor just for the tanks themselves. Here we're looking at that reply. 1390s roll on up, and the damage is astounding. 1390s carry 6 shells, not autoloader, 240 damage average. Not as much as a 5100, but so much faster, so much more nimble. And it's a light tank, which I'm always good for.
I was watching the tanks in the center. Where was Photo Finish? He was the first tank to fall. Where was he? The 1390s, did they push on the water side and get the kill?
No. He was in the middle, right at the rock where tanks go to die. I like to call it that. It's the rock just below the entrance of the mine's hill. And he exposed himself. When they began the push, he went up and over a little bit, exposing himself, I'd say too much, trying to create a distraction, using the T-32's armor in hopes that it's going to bounce a few shells here and there. He'll absorb some damage, but everyone else will come in when other things are on reload. That was his, I believe, his intention. Otherwise, it would have been nonsense to do such. He realized there's a 5100 sitting in the high ground at the base. This is not a good idea. I need to get to proper cover. He goes for it, but he gives himself a broadside. And he just starts taking shell after shell after shell. E63M6 at 5100 that we saw on the high ground for the northern defense had the easiest time in the world. All he had to do was make every connection count, and he did. T-32 goes down. That's an entire tier 8 before the real engagement has even started.
Amazing. Water side again, but you said it correctly. The flex, the 1390s coming back is what saved them because they were landing a number of shells into Fallaccio, and that's when it started to spell trouble for Top Tier. But once they took down Photo Finish and they recognized where the rest of the danger was, they moved together as one team. That's what separates Top Tier from the other teams. All right, here we go. Battle number 4. Prohorovka, Top Tier versus Hammertime. Top Tier's up 2-1. What do we have for tanks?
T-32, T-69, 3 1390s. Cunningham's that is Top Tier, the red team in the north. Hammertime, the blue team in the south, will have a T-32, Object 416, T-69, 2 1390s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams. I'm very intrigued to see how that object plays out in this battle, as we saw it on Ensk earlier.
That we did, but it was the reverse. It was Top Tier that brought it. Now it's Hammertime trying it out.
And jumping to the player who was playing the 416 earlier, Backstab. He makes the opening scout run in the 1390. Not going to see anything at all. And because of that, he's going to extend his scout run. A little risky sometimes. If Hammertime had actually gone southwest and stayed very close to the red line, there was potential he could take extra fire. However, an okay risk, generally because that strategy is not used at all. And light tanks on the move, 100% camo, great crew skills, hard to spot anyway. Backstab is going to get a little bit, I'd say, bold with his moves, making sure nothing sneaky is up, and he's going to hold up as the rest of Top Tier is going to begin moving south.
Photo Finish hanging next to the railroad tracks, east-west. Divide happening between two teams. Top Tier, again, still moving south, but the positioning of Hammertime was similar to what we've seen tankers from the south hold themselves, but that hill play, that Object 416, is not bringing any advantage to NYPD yet. He fires into potential position of Top Tier, at least scouted position probably from Photo Finish.
Don't even know if he has draw distance on that.
No, he won't. It's too far away.
Yeah. And we've got that east-west polarization coming out, something we kind of got away from in the meta.
For a while, but in this season we've seen, Gong Fu and Fnatic fight on this side. We've seen Cunningham's and Fnatic fight on this side. And then Fnatic against #RU, they fought on this side.
Yeah. Now we've got blind fire coming in. NYPD is trying to snipe from distance. 330 heat pen on that tank.
Oh, that was close against Fallaccio.
I don't even think he can see them.
No,
and Fallaccio, he could very well pen the front if he gets the right hit, snaking right between Sublime Banana and Fallaccio.
Trying to go for another. He's got plenty of shots.
He can do this all day.
He's going to wait. But that fire has got to give an indicator to Top Tier that one of those tanks is on the hill.
Maybe. We know which direction it's coming from, but not necessarily there's... No, they do know. Smart,
Yep,
heads
firing
up play.
towards the hill, firing towards the bushes on the hill. NYPD, however, is further up towards the edge. Still more shots fired. You can hear those shells zip by, and NYPD will leave this current position, head a little bit further north, or south rather.
Oh, and they've spotted something over in the northeast. Drynitz and Nitz. We've got a little damage from Coolhammer. 305 onto Drynitz.
Look at his wounds a little bit. Drynitz was able to fire 2 shots. Nitz in his T1 firing back towards Coolhammer up to the north near the flag cap, but no dice, no connection. And now Drynitz will go on the reload. Overlord Prime still staying in the village. Trying to hide between the trees and the bushes here with that camouflage, looking for an opening against top tier to land a shot. That's, ooh, shots fired towards his direction, more blind fire. Again, trying to chip away, whittle down your opponent before the big brawl can happen. Will give you that HP value, that HP advantage. Focus on that one tank that's low, and then move on from there.
We'll see if they can get that kind of engagement going. Should be very difficult, though, with the current setup that we're seeing. Getting that T1 split. We've got Coolhammer in the north, Rude Awakening in the south. And I'm seeing is that Rude Awakening getting very close to the opponent's position. He's all the way up against the train tracks now. Risky. Could be taken down if Kriegs can play this correctly. Or he could very well take down Kriegs. Goes up. NYPD, I believe, is spotted. He zeroes on that T1 position. And could we see blind fire? Looks like Velatio is putting his eyes out in that direction.
NYPD's adjusting his tank, but he's aiming in that general direction with his turret.
They're going to use Kriegs, I guess, to try and proxy, maybe, or spot him again. But Rude is already on the move, going north, trying to find those T-32s. And I do see blind fire coming out again, streaming over the positions from east to the west.
Drynitz.
Photo should be spotted by proxy now.
Drynitz still heading to the south. Standstill happening between both teams. 4 minutes and 47 seconds. Looking for any changes in patterns, changes in positioning, changes in tactics past this 5-minute mark. But none yet. And top tier, they have the advantage in points. They can go for the draw.
They have that, but they don't want to allow that if they can. Minimize the risk, yes, in making any kind of a push, but of course, try not to let it draw. It gives potential for your opponent to bring this to a tie and take you to Sand River.
That's right, no risk, no reward. And then some people say no risk, no risk.
Risk can be fun.
Oh, photo finish. Now heading north in the T-32.
The opposite is happening a bit for top tier. They're going to be sending Coolhammer down to the south. And we could see this become not east-west, but north-south, with each team trading each other their caps, which could turn out, I'd say, interestingly.
Photo finish, dancing next to those railroad cars, trying to look through, peek through for potential shot. He's going to continue to stay mobile. NYPD from further away, waiting for top tier to come towards their flag cap. That aggression. That's quite an advantageous defensive position initially to land 1 or 2 shots, but it also means that you're out of the firefight that could allow your opponent to swarm against the rest of your teammates. He's going to move away from that position as we reach the 3-minute mark.
We should explore the options for each of these teams. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay. Well, as it currently stands, Hammertime with their movements, we probably need to look at those because those could change, I think, at least my opinion of that. I see that, what is it, the object 416 beginning to shift, and that should reveal the option that Hammertime's going for. It looks like they're going to try a northern strategy. We could have a fast cap coming out, as Cool Hammer is moving towards top Hammertime's cap with Rude Awakening and the cover fire right behind. Clever tactic, using bait, as it were. You're going to bait using the T1s, follow it up. Agamemnon and E63M6 are going to cover.
All right, there's the trigger that's pulled. And this is where Hammertime's going to make that decision to push. But they have to be tactfully responsible by doing so.
Nitz spots it. Backs down. We've got a little bit of fire coming out of Rude Awakening. He's going to begin his reload shortly, but he goes down to Overlord Prime. Shots from the middle, and photo finish, getting the second kill.
Both T1s down, the aggression, the danger gone, 1:50. Real kill, looking at where we are with the amount of damage being done to both tanks. Even though top tier can be in the lead considering the tier 8s, I have a feeling this is going to go to a draw.
I would agree. 1:38 left, and top tier has blown their chance for a fast cap. They did not get the response they were hoping for from Hammertime. Hammertime playing this too smart, but we have Overlord Prime down.
E63M6 got that kill. Backstaz took a hit from Zazie. The Backstaz is now fallen back behind the trees and the bushes next to that road to avoid more of the danger. And here's Drynitz and Zazie, going to put pressure on the flag cap. This is the crucial window of timing. Even though this battle may not be a win, you have to get as much damage as possible in case this goes to a tiebreaker.
Exactly. You want to get as much as you can done. Go for that alternate objective if you can't achieve the main one. And now we've got shots fired from the cap. Agamemnon will go into spot. Drynitz and Zazie able to deal quite a bit of damage.
Ooh, shot in a penetration and shot in a bounce against Drynitz, and Sublime Banana takes down that tier 8. Nice. 45 seconds left.
And we do have Nitz moving in. Hammertime could create enough of a distraction, maybe to reply. Nope. Looks like Village is going to take that too easy. E63 now moving in on photo finish. 1390 against a lone tier 8 heavy tank.
There's one. There's two. One more for the shot and the kill. E63M6 lines it up. Just enough time, and E63M6 was on fire from photo finish. 15 seconds left. 2 tier 8s left for Hammertime. Agamemnon trying to push in and get the kill. He sees Zazie. 7 seconds left. He knows he doesn't want to risk too much, taking too much damage.
It's a 1v1 situation, very delicate.
Can he fire and get it? Nope, fires and misses. And it goes to a draw. First draw we've seen tonight between both teams. Still, the tension was high, but there was this waiting coming from Hammertime for top tier to push down to the south. That Object 416 was waiting so long for them to trigger that type of aggression. It never happened. And to top tier's credit, they knew positionally that Object 416 was on that hill.
Yes.
And if they kept themselves too exposed in that flag cap to the south, or they engaged in the village, they would take serious fire from that tank.
They recognized there was too much damage on the enemy team. When you have a lineup like this, and I'll run through really quick one more time. It was T32, T69, 3 1390s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams. That is top tier. The other side, Object 416, 1390, T32, T69, another 1390, so 2 1390s. You have more damage output over a long period of time on the side of Hammertime. Understanding that, top tier knew they could not make a reasonable push. They would have to try some other tactic to get more damage and then follow it up after a reload to win. Otherwise, the chances of winning in an all-out brawl were rather slim.
Timeout has been called by Rude Awakening, the team leader, the captain, for top tier. In that timeout, they have 60 seconds to deliberate what they want to do next, and then 60 seconds when they choose tanks. Then the battle begins. It's when the timer starts for the countdown. So when we go into tank choices, Abby is the choice. Map. Battle number 5 will take place on Abby. Top tier, depending on where they spawn, what it looks like they'll be in the north, plays defensive, and they get the win.
Very likely. But in the north, there are options, I think. More options in the south than when you defend on the south side of the map. I think there's a chance, because we have top tier spawning in the north, that Hammertime can break the camp. If top tier goes for the conventional defensive position. Otherwise, I would recommend top tier tries to grab tempo control. Forces Hammertime to be reactive to them. Forces them to expect a push and then not bring it. Or maybe you do bring it if you have the advantage, but maybe it doesn't happen and you force your opponent to stall. Take a few minutes off the clock. That's the draw. That's the victory. Go for victory. Otherwise, on Abbey can be very difficult. There's 3 main lanes. You've got that middle with the Abbey in it. You've got the east side and the high ground on the west side. The high ground on the west side, of course, we always know. Best defensive position.
It is. Now, it was Urban Warfare last time with Top Tier,
Mm-hmm.
and they used an IS-3 in the center, which was quite the... I believe it was Top Tier that did that. That was quite the sight to see. If it wasn't, it still was quite the sight to see.
Yeah, intriguing when someone brings an IS-3 and doesn't go high ground on the west side.
Yeah, let me look at my notes to verify. The thing was, you hardly ever see that type of play happening on Abbey, let alone an engagement that was so concentrated in the center. It's either flag cap variation, flag cap crazy type tactics we saw with Refuse to Die by using the medium one that has been used in some of the other regions, or this all-in brawl that happens mainly on the Western Road. But with Top Tier, it was against Fun Gaming. It was Abbey that they took the IS-3 and pushed in.
Yeah, that could work again here as we're getting ready for Abbey battle number 5. The tanks, 2 AMX 5100s, an IS-3, 2 1390s, 2 T1 Cunningham's. IS-3 is brought back. Vallejo is playing it this time. They're the red team in the north. Hammertime, the blue team in the south, will have 3 5100s, a single T69, 1390, 2 T1 Cunningham's.
It's all up to Top Tier to hold the line defensively, or perhaps the greatest defense is a awesome offense from Top Tier to take down Hammertime. Hammertime wins this. It takes us to Sand River for the tiebreaker. And that comes down to whoever did more damage to choose attack or defend. Historically, every match we have seen in Season 4 tiebreakers, the defender has won. So they want to do as much damage, both teams, in this in case Hammertime takes a win here. Zazi's fully loaded. Overlord Prime, NYPD. All tanks, except for one T1. Heading towards the flag cap. Well, heading halfway through the flag. It still takes a while for them to get up there.
Yeah. Now Cool Hammer is scouting in his T1. Needs to get out of here as Overlord Prime is getting so close. Sees the T1, zeros and fires. First T1 is down. Top Tier has lost some eyes and ears for their team.
First blood. And Overlord Prime will take that position up near the bushes, but that's going to be a big indicator for Top Tier, who has taken that center position, to know where the majority of Hammertime tanks are.
Exactly. Now Vallejo is going to shift position, maybe to proxy spot, as Overlord Prime is moving up and over.
Top Tier doesn't really have to move from the center, though, because that gives them really good map control. But look at this. Their light tanks are now heading further south. And if they are making this educated guess that Hammertime is all committed to the east, they can go for the flag cap.
I think they are. Memory leak is up, moving, getting closer. I think if he goes for the screen, he's got it. Otherwise, big problem. He's going to check the southwest portion of the map, make sure there's no T1 sitting there. But does he see Nits? No, he doesn't. Backstabs moving in right behind that, being covered by that 1390. Is going right towards Nits. Nits sees it and is going to start backing away. But the reaction from the rest of the team.
Top Tier has got to get on the flag cap now. They're wasting time. They're allowing Hammertime to come down to the south.
Could be exactly what they want. 5100s can do that. So Vallejo is all alone in the north, getting ready to defend the cap. Cap begins. Rude Awakening, Memory Leak are sitting on it. And Backstabs, can he screen? Is he going to?
Look at this commitment coming from Hammertime, though. Not all their tier 8s are heading to the south. 3 of them.
Oh, I see.
Heading towards the north. 18 seconds left.
Take a left.
It's going to be a fight of resets.
He's not going to the left. He's going to screen.
Vallejo takes down Kriegs. Now Vallejo is going to be in serious trouble as he turns and sees all of these tanks heading to the north. Vallejo is going to have to hold, and he does. A number of bounces coming from these autoloader tanks. He turns and fires into Overlord Prime, and he will be the first tier 8 to fall. Hammertime has now cleared everything to the north and will be pushing towards the flag cap. Top Tier has forsaken their southern press. They took too long to make a decision down in the south, either to attack or to move back to the center, and now they have to move back to stop this flag cap to the north, and they have to do it quickly.
Yeah, they don't have the potential to make this flag cap work. NYPD has fired a number of shells, is on reload. E63 can begin counter cap pressure. That's possible, but Memory Leak has to clutch this, and he must stop the cap.
Sublime Banana is low. As two of the tier 8s are down. Hammertime is all the tier 8s. I say that, and NYPD falls from E63M6. Memory Leak fires on the run for reset. Still 20 seconds left on the flag cap. Memory Leak fires into the dirt. And shots from long range from Sublime Banana to hit Overlord Prime.
He needs one. That's it. That's one connection he needs, but he does go down.
E63M6 now in trouble.
Sublime Banana doesn't have the health. Cannot begin this engagement. Zazie is too dangerous, and he has to solve that. E63 is going to start moving in. Zazie puts one into the dirt, but they only have 10 seconds. That's not enough time. Everyone from Hammertime is under cover. Shots fired right towards E63 and Sublime Banana. One connection onto E63.
And a reset does happen. 11 seconds left.
That's Drynets getting off the cap. They want the kills. They want the damage. They know they need it.
They want the damage. They want the damage. It's a smart play from Hammertime. Sublime Banana is able to escape, pulling back from that damage. They're going to prolong this for a little while. They're going to have to fight tooth and nail, though, to do more damage.
They need the damage. Hammertime recognizes the only situation after this is Sand River. They must come ahead in that respect to get the side choice that they would like. And so they're going to get off the cap now and go for the kills instead.
Overlord Prime whips around the corner, stops, waits. Drynets right behind him, bringing up the rear.
This is risky, though. If enough damage comes out of top tier, we could see a situation where they are able to farm just enough right at the end to even it out or tip the scales.
It's going to depend on that draw and also some of these tank choices that have happened. Photo finish, Drynets and Overlord Prime now moving as one. Zazie takes a hit for 320.
And there's the push. That's the trigger. E63 is the main target. Puts one into photo finish. Sublime Banana goes down.
And E63M6 around the corner falls to Overlord Prime. And that's it. We're going to a tiebreaker on Sand River. Before this map, our admin has told us that there is a 2,800 damage lead for top tier. So, does that still stand at the end of this map? I don't know. They have to calculate that right now.
Yeah. Looking at the post-game stats, we do have serious damage lead, though, in that battle. 1,727 damage for NYPD. 1,633 for Drynets, 1,620 for Overlord Prime, and 1,164 for Photo Finish. The other side, we've only got 1,200 for E63 Valleccio with 747. It falls off from there. Top tier may have lost their lead in this battle. And that could mean that Hammertime gets to choose defense on Sand River. I'm going to wait for the admin's official ruling on that, but we should definitely discuss Abby real quick and what the heck was going on there.
Well, even though I was looking more towards the north and seeing Hammertime's push happening up on the hill, I kept seeing those tanks, the tank icons from top tier, not doing anything in the south. They took forever to do something that allowed Hammertime to move into the necessary positions, one, to overmatch Valleccio, and two, to trade and win the firefight that happened in the center to the south.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what Valleccio was going for with that. Maybe a delay tactic against one tier 8 tank, but he could not possibly delay against a full push. And after the middle section of the map was able to shut down that cap pressure, there's no point for him to be here. This is wasted resources after the cap has been stopped. If the cap were continuing, this would be amazing. But no, it was not. T1 goes down. Top tier recognizes that this cap does not have a proper screen. Those T8s, those AMX 5100s did not have a commanding position where they could punish anyone stopping the cap or even screen it. Top tier went for a desperate cap pressure, but they did not have any real infrastructure. It looks like Hammertime is going to choose the side.
Hammertime did more damage. The damage difference was so close. Still waiting on the final. Well, we know the final calculations, but we're getting the information now what the damage difference was between these two teams. 210 HP damage difference.
Wow.
That close. That's one shot. One shot difference.
Yep. If we had seen one 5100 at the end of that make any connection with an average roll of 300 on a 5100, that would have been the difference between choosing the side here. and you recognize how much these tiny little mistakes here and there. Every shot counts, and in this one, a single shot is all the difference. It's
incredible. Sand River last night, Rookhill. It was RBIS versus the Cunninghams that went to a tiebreaker. 3 draws, boom, 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 and then after that, we saw a win on both sides. It was the Cunninghams that brought the Lorraine 155-51 artillery, and he landed 3 blows total for 1,700 damage.
Solid damage. Now, he did get splashes as well.
Or 1,400 damage, either one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did get splash damage, yes.
He got splash damage as well, and he utilized it somewhat effectively. If you think about it, if you were normal tier 8, like a 1390, he probably would have been able to deal less damage in the battle. So you have to give credit to the Lorraine there, but you have to wonder the lineup for their opponent, Arbus, was not optimal to counter that position, you'd say.
The positioning of the Cunninghams? Or the rest of the lineup
and everything. If you had a all 1390 lineup, you could, for example, just very simply push.
Oh, yes.
The Lorraine does not have the reload. He can deal a large amount of damage, but he's got 1 shell, then he's got a really long reload.
You know, it's Carbon Ward and that Pershing that kept dodging a lot of those shots, where the RNG was not landing those shots. Either way you want to say it. So lucky for him, he didn't take a significant amount of damage. If he did, because of his hold down positioning, the Lorraine was looking for him the most. If they took him down before any of their tier 8s fell, it would have been the first time an attacker probably won in that series. All right, folks, this is it. The tiebreaker. The winner moves on to the finals, the winner's match against Fnatic to play to make the spot in the finals, and the loser goes down. Luca, what do we have for tanks?
We have 3, 4, 5 AMX 51, AMX 1390s. I can't believe I just did that. 1390s, 2 T1 Cunninghams. For top tier, the red team there, the North, the attackers. Defenders, Hammertime, T32, T69, 3 1390s, 2 T1 Cunninghams. It's a very mobile lineup, Josh.
Yes, it is. But here we have photo finish from Hammertime. Not the most mobile of tanks in the T32, but the power, the hold down positioning, the armor up front.
Consistent fire, great DPM, and view range. Don't forget the view range from the T32. And now the blitz. That's what it's going to be. Right along the red line, 5 1390s moving in, trying to get in undercover, and they're going to mirror the strategy that so Sublime Banana.
Ho, Sublime! What are you doing? Don't set sail for those waves yet, my friend.
I mean, he just wants to surf the dunes. And now they're going to wait, trying to stay hidden for as long as they can. Put some confusion in the minds of their opponents. Hammertime does not see any 1390s yet. Now they'll bring in the 2 T1s, I think, opposite side of the map. Cool Hammer. Trying to get spotted. Rude Awakening's taken a little damage already. I think he may have fallen off one of the cliffs. And that could indicate to Hammertime that there's something happening in the east. If there's T1s, there has to be 1390 support behind it. It makes sense, right?
I follow the logic.
Okay.
But sometimes you can't play logically in order to win.
It is logical, in a way.
Yes.
It's just continuing down that train. If they think I'm going to do this, and if I make them think I'm going to do this, what is my best option following that? You're training Hammertime to react to something. Make them think something's coming from the opposite side. And then you bring in those 1390s. Very similar to the Sim strat. Rude Awakening, do not drown yourself, please. If he drowns himself right now, I'm going to cry. Good. 1390s, though. They're waiting for the perfect moment, the trigger, to find something out of position. The T1s need to make some work done, though. They need to get a kill, but Nitz, he's the one. He's the target.
He is the target. He's on bulldozer duty right now, taking down all of this cover to not allow top tier to go for the flag cap, guarded by the village, walls, buildings, even trees.
Camo's a thing. The Legio, even if they see creeks right now, they cannot take a shot. The Legio back says Sublime have to hold their fire, even if they see creeks, I think. If they do, they blow their potential at the surprise. But if they pushed right now, if top tier pushes right now, what do they find? They find Zazie, Overlord Prime, Drynitz, photo finish. All in positions perfect for a reaction. And that's the big problem for top tier right now. They have to draw Zazie out of position. And then Overlord Prime, perhaps out of position. They need to create an engagement immediately on their opponent.
And this clock that is ticking is in favor of Hammertime. Hammertime can either go for the clock to tick all the way down to 0 or destroy all the tanks of top tier, they win. Top tier has to either get the flag cap or destroy all of the tanks on the side of Hammertime.
And they've got 6 minutes and 20 seconds to do so. And there's a little motion. Zazie looks a little antsy here and there. Cap beginning them.
Rude Awakening falls, and that T1 Krieg's got the kill.
That's the trigger. Now, with the cap pressure, you've got 1390s moving it. Does Zazie see it, though? Does he see the push?
He does. He's going to fall back.
He knows, and that's going to be a reaction. Hammertime has to flex instantly, knowing what is up. NYPD on the reload right now. And because of that 1390 on reload, this could be top tier's chance. This could be their opening.
Vlachio's hit for so much damage. He tries to cross away, but he falls to Drynitz. Zazie's the next victim. Ram damage. One more shot, and he falls. Memory Leak gets the kill. And Drynitz takes down Bastaz. Top tier is now behind, but they're pushing up. Hammertime returning that aggression against E63M6 with their own. Staying together, both sides. Photo finish absorbing a lot of those shots from the 1390. He may be the next one to fall as NYPD and Overlord Prime are using the rest of their shots. Drynitz pushes up, tries to body block, tries to make Sublime focus his fire towards somewhere else. T32 goes down. There goes Sublime Banana.
A failed push. They tried to catch their opponent by surprise, but now Memory Leak is just on the run. NYPD with 2 shells. 1 shell from Overlord Prime just streams on over.
NYPD rushing towards him. Nitz takes down Cool Hammer. That's all the tier 8s left. It's only Memory Leak. NYPD misses the shot on the run. Fires again into the dirt. Memory Leak still trying to escape. Drynitz fully loaded. Turns the corner. On the run. Gets the shot for 222. Stops and fires again. Waits for it. One more blow. Memory Leak is gone. Hammertime with a comeback is able to take the series and move on to the winner's match. This is a big series for Hammertime, even though they're going to face Fnatic, a team that they have faced many times in their career. It puts themselves out of that potential losers bracket, and they'll have a shot at making it to the finals by defeating Fnatic or defeating the team they're going to see in the decider match.
Absolutely phenomenal. I expected Hammertime to win this situation. Top tier, a very experienced team, but Hammertime, veterans through and through. It is surprising, though, that top tier was able to do quite so well, but then lost so much momentum in this series.
You look at the placement in both division. Top tier solidify their placement in 2nd place in Alpha. Hammertime was tied 2nd and 3rd with Cunningham's. They lost a tiebreaker against Cunningham's. So this is a very even matchup based on that placement between these two teams, but Hammertime was able to pull it off. Hammertime does have one more season in the Gold League over top tier. However, top tier still not out of this yet, as they are going to fight #RU in the losers match, and that'll be coming up next. Good series so far. The first 2 matches are now complete. We have 3 more matches to go. The losers match, the winners match, and then the decider match. And at the end of the night tonight, folks, we'll know which 4 teams will be at the finals in Seattle. The losers match will begin after this. Stay tuned.